Okay, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna try to film this again because I just got like 5 minutes in and my phone just like cut and deleted everything. But I used to love watching Storytime videos when I first started watching YouTube when I was like 14. So that's what I wanted to film today. This one is about my creepy neighbor. He actually still lives 2 doors down from me and loves to talk to me and my friends every time that he sees us. And I'm not exactly sure if he doesn't remember what happened that night because he was pretty messed up. But it was a terrifying experience, and I'm not sure why nothing really happened after that. But basically, one night, well, okay, let me give you some background information. So I used to see him every single time that I would walk my dog, and he would walk his, and I don't know, we would stop and we would have conversation every once in a while, just like, hey, how's your day? How have you been? And nothing really serious. And then one day he decided to ask like just like how old I was and what I was up to. And I was just like, oh, well, I'm 19. And I don't know, just like relaxing, walking my dog basically. And he was like, oh, like I'm 28, but I want to smoke. Like, do you smoke? Do you want me to like come up to your apartment? We can smoke together. And I was like, dude, you literally just told me you're 28 and I'm 19. So no, not interested in you coming into my apartment and smoking with me. That just like makes me feel very unsafe. So I told him no. I was like, you're a lot older than me. Listen, like, it's cool having just like little conversations on the side, just saying hi, but like, no, I don't want to hang out. I don't want to smoke. I don't want you to come up to my place. So, okay, he said, have a good day. I walked off. I didn't really think too much of it. I told my brother about it because it was just like a little strange, and he lives really close to me and I see him all the time. But I didn't think too much of it. And then, so I usually, not usually, but like every once in a while, I'll get really bad nightmares. And it'll be like for maybe a week straight, and then they'll stop. And so this week, I was just having really bad nightmares, and I went to sleep on my couch. And I woke up at like 3 in the morning because I just like couldn't take the nightmares anymore. And I went to go walk my dog because if I'm up walking around, I feel like it's only fair to like let her go to the bathroom because she's up walking around, you know? But like, I shouldn't be scared to walk my dog at 3 o'clock in the morning at my apartment complex. Like, I shouldn't have to worry about that. So I go down, I walk her, and I notice that there is a cat down there. And I am obsessed with cats, I'm not gonna lie. I will do anything for a stray cat if I can. So I went upstairs, and because I have cats, I brought him down some wet food. And that was it. I didn't really think too much of it. I went back to my apartment, closed the door, locked it, whatever. Laid down on the couch for a few more hours, fell back asleep, and around like 4:45, I heard like banging on my door, like 10 loud knocks at least of like hard pounding. And when you wake up out of a sleep after just having nightmares, that is not like what you would like to wake up to. And so I've never experienced that before, especially because like I live by myself, and who the hell is going to be banging at my apartment door that early in the morning? So that just like didn't make any sense to me. And I, in like a half sleep panic, go to my door and I look through the peephole, and like because I'm half asleep, I wasn't thinking too much of it. I wasn't thinking, oh, like something bad could happen right now. So I see that it's my neighbor, and I really wasn't too concerned because just like he hasn't done anything in the past. And so I like crack the door open because who the hell is banging on your apartment at that time in the morning? Like, I figured something must be wrong. Like, something must be really wrong if someone's needing me that bad to be pounding on my door like that. And I know that was not the right choice. Like, do not open your door to anyone, especially at 4:45 in the morning. Like, it's just not a smart idea. There's nothing that, like, no good can happen after that. So basically I crack the door open and he's just sitting there, like standing there staring at me, saying nothing, like maybe like 2 inches from the door. And I'm like terrified. I'm like silent. I don't even know what to say. I'm like staring back at him because he's just not saying anything. And I like expected him to say something if you're like pounding on my door like that, right? So he's just standing there like looking at me, like straight faced. And he just keeps saying like, or I ask him first. I say, hey, like, what's going on? Are you okay? Like, what's wrong? Why are you banging on my door? Like, just spitfiring random questions because he's not saying anything, and I was scared. So he literally just looks at me and goes, can I come in? Obviously I say no. I'm like, sir, what the fuck do you think I would let you in my house after I just told you how long ago that I didn't want you to like to come up and smoke with me in the first place? So I'm like, no. Like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? Like, do you need help? Do you need me to call someone? And he just keeps repeating, can I come in? Can I come in? And I keep saying no. And I'm like, listen, dude, like, you need to go back to your apartment. I'm sorry that you're having a hard time or whatever, but not in my place. I am not the one to help you. Go knock on someone else's door. Like, you need to get out. And he goes, can I at least have a hug? Like, you're so beautiful. Let me come in. Like, let me at least have a hug from you. And like starts to walk towards me and put his arms around me, and I'm like shaking and like shaking physically. It takes everything in me. I push this man as far as I can back in the hallway, slam my door shut, lock both the locks that I have on that door, and walk slowly back to my couch and just start like bawling hysterically. Like, this man literally just sat there, tried to call me beautiful, tried to come in, tried to push his way in, tried to put his arms around me at 4:45 in the morning after I've just had nightmares the whole entire night. And I'm not that bitch to own like safety of any sort, really. Now I got some pepper spray and a taser, but like other than that, I got nothing. So I'm sitting there shaking in my boots because I'm like, I have no deadbolt on my door. Like, yeah, we have 2 locks, but like that's all we got. And in my apartment complex, like the buildings are all outside and they're separated, and the hallways are like cement and they're outdoors. So like no one can see in that hallway unless you're on the end suites. And I am not on an end suite. Okay? I am literally like dead smack in the middle, and he's 2 doors down from me, so he's dead smack in the middle. Like, no one can see him walk to my place at all from the outside. So it's just like no one saw that. And so I am freaking out. I'm calling everyone that I can. I call my dad, which of course he's on a hunting trip that night, which like he goes maybe like 2-3 times a year. So the one night that I'm like, okay, please come save me, he's on a hunting trip. I call my brothers, and it's 4:45 in the morning. So like my older brother did not answer right away. He like, of course, who's gonna answer their phone at 4:45 in the morning? And I call my little brother and my mom, but they live in Illinois. So like, even if they do pick up, they can't really help me except for tell me what to do. And so I then call my stepmom because she is here, and she did not pick up right away. Literally no one answered. So I call my best friend at the time, who literally lived 2 like buildings down from me in the same complex. And she like, I picked up the phone. She was getting ready for work. She literally takes her laptop, runs out the door, runs past her boyfriend at the time, starts speeding over to my apartment, is freaking out for me, is like trying to get to me as fast as she can. Bless her heart, like literally trips over a rock, eats it. Like her boyfriend is like running after her in the distance, like watching this whole thing unfold, just like biffs it, rips her sweatpants open, her computer goes flying. He's like helping her get her shit together, running over to my house. Finally, they both get there. They're knocking on the door, and he like made sure that she got there safe. He like checked the hallway to make sure we were good. He walked back to his apartment, and we locked ourselves in there just to like, she could be with me, basically. We didn't know what to do. And so my stepmom basically was like, look, like he's probably just intoxicated or something. Like, he's not gonna come back. Don't worry about it. Like, you don't need to call cops. But Yeah, so we were just sitting there not calling the cops and chilling and trying to relax, and we were on FaceTime with my best friend Isabella, who lives in Minnesota. And we were like telling her the whole story basically of what was happening, freaking out. And all of a sudden, 3 knocks on the door. Cut and then like restarted just to make sure that that's safe. But yeah, so 3 more knocks on the door, and she's sitting with me on my couch at this point, and we're looking at each other like, who the fuck is at the door? Because it's not her boyfriend. He would have told us. He wouldn't have just like tapped on the door and thought that that was funny. And no, he would have called us and said, look, I'm outside, let me the fuck in. So I look at her and I'm like, listen, I'm not opening that door. I know what happened last time. I'm not the one. I'm not looking through that peephole. We're just gonna sit in here and we're gonna call my stepmom back, and she's gonna come deal with this for us and help us, because I don't know what to do and I'm not opening that door. At the time, my friend, she goes over to the door and looks through the peephole for me, because I was not doing that. Not a chance in hell. I didn't care who the fuck was behind the door. That was not my interest at the time. And I have never seen like someone more shook and just like in shock, because this girl looked like she was about to have like a mental full-on breakdown. Like she just saw a ghost. Like she's gonna fucking pass out and collapse because she just saw a ghost. And so she looks in the peephole and backs up so slow, and that's when everything in her, like her whole body just turns white. And she looks at me and she goes, oh hell no, and walks to my knife drawer. And I'm like, bitch, what are you doing in the knife drawer? Because like, we're not opening the door no matter what. Like, he can't get us right now. Don't go there. Like, we are not opening the door. And she looks at me and she's terrified, and she goes, I want you to know he has a ski mask on, and he's like kitty corner, like sitting on your wall, like looking in the peephole with his ski mask on. Because keep in mind, the first time he came to my house, it was like 4:45 in the morning. I was half asleep on the couch. He knows I live alone. And clearly when he was there the first time, he knew I was alone, which is why he came back. Why he came back with a ski mask this time, I didn't even want to know. That was the least of my worries. And so I literally look at her, I'm like, we're not opening the door, we're not doing anything. So I call my stepmom back. I said, listen, look, he's at the door again. He has a ski mask on. I'm not opening the door. I don't know what to do. And she's like, okay, I didn't think it was this serious, but you need to call the cops, like right now. Like, you need to call 911. So I call 911. I'm shaking. I can't even get words out to the fucking operator. She's asking for my location. She's asking what's going on. My friend takes the phone from me and she starts like giving the address and everything, because I'm literally shaking right now telling the story. But she's literally giving the address because I can't even get words out. And she lives like 2 buildings down, so obviously she knows where we live. And this operator is like, listen, like, there will be officers on their way right now. Like, do not leave your apartment. Do not open the door. Like, stay inside. So stay on the line also. So we had to stay on the line the whole time. Finally, you're knocking at the door. We look through the peephole. It's the cops. There's 2 officers. And so we open the door and we're petrified. And we're just like, okay, listen, he lives 2 doors down. His name is blah, 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 because I knew his name. And he has now showed up to my door twice. I'm pretty sure that he's on something, because when he got close to me, like that physically close to me, and he tried to hug me, I didn't smell anything on him. And I feel like I would have smelled alcohol if he was pretty intoxicated, you know? But I didn't. So I told him he must be messed up on something, because like his pupils were huge when he was staring at me, and I did not smell alcohol whatsoever. So they're like, okay, listen, like, stay calm. We got it covered. Like, we're gonna go knock on his door and we're gonna check. You staying here, you lock your doors, like, unless we knock back on your door, don't open the door. So they go over there. We hear them pound on the door. And they have to, like, actually, like, physically pound on the door, because he was not gonna come to the door right away. And so after, like, pounding for a while, they finally get him to open the door, and they ask him, I guess, a few questions. I'm not sure exactly what they asked him. Sorry, I have, like, cat hair on my nose. But they ask him a few questions. I don't know what they asked him, because they obviously didn't do a very good job or check very well if he was actually okay or sane, because they came back to my door not even 5 minutes later and they're like, oh, okay, well, he must be pretty messed up on something, but he should leave you alone now. If he comes back, let us know. Give us a call. Stay in your apartment, stay safe. Have a good day. So my brother finally answers the phone. He like comes charging over. He was so pissed off. He like sat with me the rest of the day basically. But we literally later that day go to the front office of my apartment complex thinking that they would give two shits, you know, about the fact that this guy just tried to come into my apartment and do Lord knows what with me with a ski mask on. And we go to tell my apartment complex, especially because there's so many young girls living here. And they literally look at me like wide-eyed and go, that's an issue for the cops to deal with. Have a good day. So apparently no one cares that this man lives in our apartment complex, and every single time that one of my young ass girlfriends walks past our building, he decides that he's going to stop and talk to them and try to make conversation. I don't know what his issue is, but that is my story time with my creepy ass neighbor, and I will keep you updated over time on how that goes. But I mean, nothing else too crazy has happened since I've known him and since that incident happened. I don't know if he even fully remembers, but he still definitely is trying to talk to young girls. I know that we aren't 18, but like I was 19. So I don't know what he's trying to go for, but obviously he didn't care. So yeah, that's my story time for the day, but like and subscribe, and I have so many more story times that I can tell. So if you liked this one, let me know and I will make some more for you. Have a good day.